The college football experience week 11 DFS preview picks and underdog fantasy plays episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up. And when you do sign up with the promo code TCESGPN, you get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and college hoops in the NFL with Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is RI sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to it ride.
This is Coach June Jones, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
College football experience week 11 DFS preview picks and underdog fantasy plays. Yes, we are back. Great week of football upon us. It was a great week last night. We had the fan storm in the field in Conway, South Carolina, as I went out to the Appalachians. My first App State Coastal Carolina game. The animosity was high. YouTube.com/the college experience. Jump on over there. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, my name is Kobe Swinging Database Dad, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Yes, so we got some fire games today. College basketball loaded up. We got college football, big-time games. Ivy League and the FCS playing a big one tonight. Let's go. Gotta love it. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former. Well, that's Herndon Basketball League MVP. The rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lock giving. Former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. Maybe not the smoothest of intros, but how's it going today?
Let's get that. This will save it. Buddy, first App State Coastal Carolina game. I mean,
while you were walking in, did the fans break out into the fuck App State chant?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty classic, isn't it?
I parked on a golf course, right?
Okay.
For free instead of the $30 parking they were offering. And well, first off, I'm going down this like side street. And I almost parked in front of a house. I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the road. They might tow me. And then I look over at a guy who's got a 12 pack of beer in his hands as he's walking, and he goes, "Golf course, free parking, bro, over there."
Nice.
So
there's also a community college over there with some free lots. It's a little bit of a hike, but I mean, come on, it's not too bad, especially on a nice evening.
But then I park, and then I hear, within seconds of getting out of the car, "Fuck App State." So it was, dude. You know what, man? And that stadium takes some flack for the teal turf. I actually was it over, achieved to me in my estimation of what it was going to be. The fans were lit. Yeah, good stadium. The great baseball stadium next to it too. It looked like.
I always think, and I know we've both been to Boise, and now we've both been to Coastal. I'm not sure if you've been to any other colored turfs, but it's worse on TV. I think in person, you don't really. I mean,
I agree.
Really, and I think even like the blue turf at Boise was a little worse in person than the teal. I mean, teal's pretty damn close to green anyway, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, I do think you're right in this assessment. But where are you at now with App? Because I couldn't help but hear a couple App fans walking out saying, we need a different coach. We've lost 4 of 5 now to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah. And there's some, some App grads where I live in my neighborhood. And whenever we get together, obviously we talk college football and they're not happy and that they're season ticket holders. And they'll tell you that the fan base is not happy with Sean Clark year 5 now. Look, they've dropped under him. They've gone down a little bit and year 5, that's unacceptable. Right. So, we've talked about this a little bit this year. Will the circumstances surrounding the storm impact? I think he's gone. If there was no storm, he'd be gone. Does that give him another year? Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, the fan base isn't happy right now.
Yeah, and just they were down 17-0 after the first. Now they battled back to make it a little bit of a game, and then Coastal put it on them later.
How about Cameron in the chat? Frederick, Maryland. We know a lot about Frederick, Maryland. Our folks lived in Point of Rocks, Maryland for a little while, which is right outside Frederick. So
I've been to a Frederick Keys game. Have you?
There we go. No, I have.
Are they still there? Shout out to Cameron in the chat, youtube.com/the college experience. Also, shout out to Elliot. Glad to see Cameron's a longtime Navy fan. Forget about Maryland. He says he's hitting all the right, he's coming in hot. I agree. Let's go. With the exception of our mother graduating there. We do have another family member that's a huge, or at least was a huge fan. But yeah, go Navy. Let's go. The other game going on, NC Nick, I tried to tell you, and I'm curious where you're at right now.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina. You don't come to East Carolina. You don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
ECU dominating performance. They've now put up, the interim coach has been there for 2 games. They've had over 1,000 yards of offense in those 2 games. 56 points in the first one, 49, and they could have scored more last night, I believe. It was 49-7. Kind of called off the dogs. I'm telling you, we fired Houston a little bit. If they listened to Dundee here, when we lost the App game, I said, fire Houston. I actually believe this team is talented, and I believe that I think they could run the table, but I also think it might be too late for them to win the AAC. They're still in that mix. We'll see. They need Navy. Well, Navy losing to Rice helped. But they need Army they need North Texas really to win this week. But I can't do that. I can't take North Texas. Let's go Army. But your thoughts on these Pirates, buddy?
Well, I mean, I think getting to a AAC championship game is still a long shot. I mean, you have 2 teams that are undefeated in the conference, and they would need to lose twice in 3 or 4 weeks. So it's probably not going to happen, but who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened. Part of it, I do think, I mean, look, the 1-game bump is over. So it was nice to see them play good in the second game after the firing of Houston. And they have been more talented. I mean, and maybe the team just despised Houston for whatever reason. But also part of it is who they've played, because FAU, I think we saw them quit on
Tom Herman.
Yeah. Tom Herman in the second half of the USF game last week. So, and the other game, ECU beat Temple, right? And Temple's just trash. So,
well, Temple had shown some fight the games before, though.
A little bit.
Dude, Temple, like UConn and Temple was like tied up.
Yeah,
with like 5 seconds left. You know what I mean? Like,
look, they're playing good ball. The offense is finally cranking out some points. The turnovers have been limited as to what they were to begin the year. So I guess if you're ECU, you're happy. I mean, who is the interim coach? I don't even know.
Blake Harrell, their DC. But it's a shame they didn't do it when I told them or I said to do it, because they would have beaten Charlotte.
Yeah,
like this team would have beaten Charlotte. You only would have had one
Then you would have a real chance.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. Now, is Harold going to do such a good job? It's going to be hard to not give him
I do think that's dangerous because that's always dangerous when you do this, especially because we knew ECU's schedule was so light this year in the conference. There was no Tulane on it. There was no Memphis on it. So I don't know.
I think and talk about season win total. What was it? 6.5?
6.5. Yeah.
Okay. So they're still in pretty good shape to hit that, being 5-4 right now. And I think both of us bet ECU with the over.
Yeah, we did. So we're looking good there. Anyway, the other weekday game, Action was fun though. Action was fun. Kent State's fucking horrible.
Always fun. Yeah. And especially the game on Tuesday where Western Michigan took the L, because that was their first loss in conference. So right now in the MAC, you got 4 teams at 4-1. Chaos. That's going to be a hell of a race down the stretch.
It's chaos. Can't wait for these Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We will have you covered on the college football experience. Let's jump into this DFS front. But before I do that, I want to let you know that college basketball is back. We got a great day of hoops upon us shortly. I believe North Carolina Central is about to tip, but we got the Tar Heels in the fog against Kansas tonight. A slew of other good matchups. I'm excited that South Florida Charleston matchup. Check out the college basketball experience because they break down every game. And I am, when I say they, myself, Moneyline Mac, Noah Beanick, and NC Nick jumps on some of these episodes here. We break down every single college basketball game on the slate. Talk every game of the season every single night. So it's relentless, but get on over there and check it out and subscribe. Also, thanks for tuning in to this show, the College Football Experience. If you can head over to Spotify and give us a 5-star rating, we'd appreciate it. Only you can help prevent corporate gambling from taking over. Shout out to the chat. We are back. Colby's still rolling after a long monkey night. Look, you hear about this monkey thing? You hear about this thing?
I listened to the podcast this morning, so it was the first time I heard about it.
Did you check the news? If we're done,
no,
man.
Not yet. Have any monkeys crossed over the border into North Carolina yet?
So I'm saying we've
been worried.
We've had our time. All right. The human race has had their time on planet Earth.
I mean, I can break out my guns and sit up, crack open a window, start plucking them off if need be.
The problem is I think they're well thought out. They're enhanced. You know what I mean? They've been lab monkeys. So you have no idea what their brains are capable of.
Are they weaponized yet? Have they been able to get any weapons?
That's what I'm saying. These are things we all need to ask ourselves every day until these 43 monkeys are found. If you're not familiar with the story, Google monkey outbreak in South Carolina, and you'll get a great story there. Tonight's slate. What do you make? Cameron just loaded up on North Carolina Central. Lavelle Moten.
There we go.
Yeah.
If I didn't have them as well, job, I'd be there right after this podcast ends. But unfortunately, I do.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Curious what you did. The fact you're having a real job, that's a bummer.
That is. The fact that I have bills to pay is also a bummer.
Yeah, real bummer. Look, I'm curious what you did on this. I got pretty creative, I thought, with this. Well, I don't know if creative is the right word, but did you go with 2 quarterbacks on the Friday night slate here?
I did, real quick. Cal, Wake, total of 54.5. Iowa, UCLA, total of all the way down to 44.5, as you might expect. Rice, Memphis, total of 50.5, and then the nightcap, New Mexico, San Diego State, 65.5. So that's definitely the highest total. And I'm going to pay up for my top quarterback, and it is New Mexico's Devin Dampier, because that guy,
he's a stat machine. I mean, this guy.
Yeah, I mean, dual threat. He's been putting up some crazy stats. Like last week, 50 fantasy points against Wyoming. You don't have to go too far back. 3 weeks ago, over 40 fantasy points against Utah State. He's had a couple games like in the 20s and stuff, but his ceiling is incredibly high. And I mean, that's probably why he's 9.9K, but I think he does have the highest ceiling of any player on the slate. So you got to roster him.
Yeah. And especially get San Diego State's defense is not the Rocky Long defense there.
No.
Yeah, a bigger impact on a team. Devin Dampier with New Mexico or Eric Dampier on that Mississippi State team that went to the Final Four?
He was a baller in college. I don't remember Dampier doing much in the pros, but I mean, to take Mississippi State to a Final Four.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty.
Is there any
big
relation?
Time.
I don't know a whole lot of Dampiers out there.
I don't know. Maybe, perhaps, someone do a deep dive on that. My only complaint about this lineup that I'm about to give you is I avoided the Rice Memphis game, which I don't know if that was smart.
I got a couple guys.
I wanted my boy Dean Connors, but I just couldn't. I couldn't fit him in.
We'll get to running back. Do you have a second quarterback?
I do. Same game. I'm going with son of Ed O'Neill, Danny O'Neill. He's not the son, but he's a Colorado flip. He was out of Indiana, originally going to the Buffs. When Sean Lewis left for San Diego State, Danny O'Neill followed coach over to San Diego State. New Mexico's defense, although Bronco Mendenhall is a defensive guy, and I do think they'll become good defensively in time, they're not good right now. And I think Sean Lewis's offense will be able to exploit just a lack of talent on the defensive side. So at 5,300, give me Danny O'Neill.
I like to play. I didn't roster him. No, I mean, I think New Mexico's pass defense is in the hundreds, so they have been struggling on that side of the ball. O'Neill, I guess my only concern is that he can't be trusted. He's a true freshman. He's had some ugly games so far. I think you're okay. And actually, one of the prop bets I like is Danny O'Neill over 223 and a half yards. I mean, just look at the total in that game, 65.5, and it's only a 2-point spread. So Vegas expects both offenses to do well. And also I agree that you have to have a cheap quarterback if you're going to spend up on Dampier. I went $500 more expensive. I went with your boy, good old Hank Bachmeier, Wake Forest.
That himself quietly a good season.
He has played pretty solid, and Cal. I mean, I think we think of Cal having a good defense. Not really the case this year. I mean, NC State's true freshman CJ Harris just threw for over 300 on him. Cal's pass defense is ranked like in the mid 70s. So I think, Wake Forest, home dog, I think they're going to be able to do some things offensively. And Bachmeier, for that cheap of a price, he's going to have a solid game. If you want to make a side bet, O'Neill Bachmeier, I'm down.
Let's do it. I mean, first off, we were supposed to be at that Wake Forest game before you cowardly, cowardly backed out of that game. But I understand you have kids. I have kids too, but Wake Forest football is exciting.
Youth soccer's over, but now youth basketball has started, and I'm the head coach for that. And that took precedence. Sorry.
And are they running suicides yet?
Yes, they are, and I'm going to teach them the 4-corner offense next practice.
Yes, no shot clock, and you can load up on wins on that level with no shot clock. That is an easy way to grab a dub. Bet. Let's go. Battle of Bourbon. You're gonna lose.
Let's do it.
Guess what I rostered on this fine slate? I rostered. You could say I'm a huge Ashton Jeanty fan, right?
Yeah.
I think I had someone ask me the other day in the basketball chat, Jeanty or Travis Hunter, and I made my case on Jeanty's incredible, but I just think Travis Hunter's doing something we haven't seen in 100 years. And I low key, this guy is pretty damn close to that level. It's Caleb Johnson for Iowa. If you had to rank, I know there's some other good backs with the Ohio State backs, the Penn State backs, and some in the SEC that are studs. Where would you put Caleb Johnson? Because he's a fucking beast. He has 19 touchdowns on the season.
I think you say he's a top 5 running back nationally.
Yeah, actually, he has 20 touchdowns on the season. 20 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, I think one receiving, right?
Hey,
dude, he's a monster. I didn't roster him though. I think spending up 9.9K on the quarterback, and then to turn around and drop 10.4K on him was a little too rich for my blood. I do think he's one of the best running backs in the country. He's almost game proof. It doesn't matter. He's going to get at least like 25 fantasy points. And he also does have a pretty high ceiling. So I don't mind the play whatsoever. But no, I went for my top running back a little bit cheaper. and it is in that game. I'm going to pair him with Dampier, and it's the San Diego, or actually it's the other side of that, the San Diego State running back Marquez Cooper, because that guy has been an animal this year too. He probably, what does he have? 9 rushing touchdowns, a few games over 100 yards. He ran for 223 in the opener. So Marquez Cooper for 8K is my highest running back.
I tried to roster him. I didn't have enough money to make it all fit. But
For me,
he was with Sean Lewis at Kent State.
Yeah. For me, it was the matchup and being so much cheaper than Johnson.
Dan in the chat saying, "Congrats to ECU, Nick. Any ladders you like this week? We got some ladders coming, I think, right?
We'll get there. I got one on this slate actually.
For my second running back, and that was the only bad thing, is like this is where with me loading up on Dampier and Johnson, you really had to just kind of throw together a roster. I went with the former Iowa State Cyclone, Eli Sanders.
Play the music. He's my third running back.
Starting running back for the Lobos. 5,700 is the price. Okay, who's your next play?
He's coming off a game where he just ran for over 200 yards, including a 75-yard touchdown run against Wyoming. Again, I think it's important to get pieces in that game. You mentioned him earlier. My last running back, Dean Connors, my guy at Rice.
My boy. Damn it.
Baller. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. He is the Rice offense. Rice hasn't been on many DFS slates this year. This might be the first time even. So I had to fit in Dean Connors here. And Memphis's defense, what did UTSA just do to them?
Oh yeah,
like 42 or something. Was that 44?
Yeah.
So and 2 weeks before that, North Texas put up 44 also. So I'm not afraid of this Memphis defense. I think Rice covers, and Dean Connors has a nice little game in the process.
I like it. I'm a Dean Connors guy till I die, right? And I just couldn't. I just couldn't get him. I couldn't figure it out. Wide receiver wise, I didn't have the money, so I had to go with 4 wideouts.
Ooh, okay.
Unless you find a cheap running back for me that I missed.
No, I mean, my 3 running backs were all, Sanders was the cheapest one at 5.7K. So I have one decently priced receiver, but then I went cheap. I mean, like real cheap.
Well, let's start off with a guy out of Centerville, Virginia.
No.
I've loaded up on this guy many of times, but he's the leading receiver on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. His name is Taylor Moore, and now my only complaint is he's the leading receiver by like 10 receptions or more.
Yeah,
but he's only scored 1 touchdown on the season. That's he's due. Did you roster him?
I did not. I went even cheaper. What was his price?
4,700. But it should be noted that I think Donovan Green is questionable.
Yeah. So I went with a different Wake receiver. And this guy actually leads Wake Forest in targets, just a couple more than your boy. And that is Horatio Fields. He's definitely like a slot guy underneath. He'll have, like a couple games ago, 6 catches, 43 yards against UConn. So, I mean, we are playing, PPR, so he's going to get some catches. And I just think for his price, I think Morin's better. I think Morin has a higher ceiling, but I went cheaper because I know this guy's going to get catches. He's going to get targets.
Yeah. Where are you at with Horatio Sands?
I don't think it's very funny.
I'm not the biggest fan either. I've always wondered, how did he get, but that's the only other Horatio I feel like I know.
I do like the name Horatio. It sounds like
did I break up there? Did you get my audio there or no?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I think it's my internet.
Right.
Yeah, I
heard you. I heard everything you were saying about Horatios, but I agree. I like the name Horatio. It sounds like it's got, historical significance.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stay in that same game. One thing I do know is that Wake's defense is not great.
Yep.
Now the hard part is trying to figure out a lineup. I want action on Cal's offense. I couldn't afford Jaden Ott. So I'm like, okay, who can I go to? I went with Naziah Hunter.
Okay. Well, go back to Ott real quick. I mean, he has not had the year that everybody was expecting. And
he missed like 3 or 4 weeks, didn't he?
He was hurt for a while. I don't even know if he's like the RB1 there anymore. So a very disappointing year because Javion Thomas is the other running back. He seems to be getting even more carries now, even with Ott being healthy. So I don't blame you for not taking Ott. But sorry, you're going with the receiver?
Yeah, 5 touchdowns on the year. He's their top receiver as far as receptions. Naziah Hunter,
true freshman,
is a guy. Yeah, out of Salinas, California. There. So I think there's gonna be yards in this game. You know what I mean? Like I think both offenses have the advantage. So I want action. I thought about they have good tight ends. Cal does with injuries and Corey Dykes, the Maryland transfer. But my only problem is they seem to spread the ball around a lot. But Hunter seems to be the guy that I think I can rely on the most, since the rest of the team only has what I think 4 receiving touchdowns. He has 5 himself. So let's go with that.
I like it. Yeah, actually, I did not roster anybody for Cal. Not that I was purposely, not looking towards that direction. I mean, nobody's afraid of Wake Forest's defense either, but it just shook out that way where I didn't have anybody on Cal. But let me go to my most expensive receiver because I kind of went out of order talking about fields for Wake. This is my one guy on Memphis. And Rock Taylor, the receiver, he's been a baller for them for a couple years, especially with the other receiver, Blake Umsey, questionable. I mean, Taylor just went 8 for 111.
What's his price?
UTSA. He's 6.3K. So I'm guessing you probably can't afford him.
Yeah, I can't afford him.
Gotcha.
Where were you at with the TV show Rock or Family Matters? Where did you go?
I think it was more Family Matters. I mean, Urkel. Okay.
Yeah. Charles Dutton, though, is just a bad motherfucker, I feel like.
I do believe he was a better dad, but the better show was probably Family Matters.
Better dad than Carl Winslow.
How's it compared to hanging with Mr. Cooper?
I never got on board with hanging Mr. Cooper, despite them throwing Reggie Theus behind the camera, or on screen, I should say. I do appreciate them giving Reggie Theus a lot of action there. But
I know you were a big Martin fan, though.
Yes, Martin was a good show. Martin Lawrence in his prime was fucking hilarious.
He was. He fell off quickly, but in his prime, he was good.
Also, as a stand-up, he was fucking really funny to me. Third wide out there.
All right, my last guy. And here's my ladder play too. All right, so we know Luke Lachey is out. We know the other Iowa tight end is out. So I got a roster whoever's starting at tight end for Iowa. And that's
just a thing you do on a weeknight.
Right. That's all the way down to 3K, bottom of the barrel. Zach Ortworth. He did go three for
such
60.
an Iowa name.
It really is. Last 2 games, he's had 3 catches apiece. Against Wisconsin, he went 3 for 66. His ladder, I got in yesterday where if he just repeated the 60+ yards from last week, it would have been plus 900. That's come down a little bit. I think I just saw that the very top of the ladder, 60 yards, is now like plus 650 or so. Still pretty juicy, but I got in yesterday. So Zach Ortworth, 3K.
3K. I think you just convinced me to switch to him. I'm gonna remove Tobias Merriweather, the Cal wideout, and go to Ortworth with Iowa. Sold. Now it frees up extra money, but I don't even know if I'm going to use that extra money because my final guy now is the leading receiver reception wise. This is like the story of my Friday night DFS. These guys that are leading the team in receptions need to get in the end zone because they're long overdue. All right. Yeah. I went with Morin. Now I'm going with Jashawn Polk, who had played with Sean Lewis at Kent State as well. He's got 37 receptions on the season. That's 12 more than anybody on this San Diego State roster. He has yet to find the pay dirt though. So today's the day. Let's go. What are you doing?
It makes sense to stack him with O'Neal too. So I like the play, but no, I've already given out my lineup, man. I'm done.
Oh, let's go. Folks, want to tell you that the college football experience DFS show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all the sports. There's NFL, college football, college hoops, CFL, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, NHL, and much, much more. And Boost Uber is upon us, which means you're getting a spooky amount of profit boost and much more. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries as well. So what are you doing, folks? Get on over there. Sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick. First time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. NC Nick. Have you had a chance to dabble on the underdog market?
Have I had a chance? Come on. You know what I mean? Speaking of underdog, hopefully you paid attention. You follow me on X, because I did throw out 3 plays, college basketball plays. What was that? Wednesday, all 3 of them hit. That would have been a nice little cash in your pocket. So let's try to do the same thing tonight. Let me know if you like these. I'll start off with Hank Bachmeier, Wake Forest quarterback. I'm rostering in DFS. I will take over 1.5 touchdowns.
Oh, smash. That's hitting.
Yeah. Okay. Chase Garbers. We haven't talked about the UCLA quarterback yet, but I will take under 226.5 passing yards playing an Iowa defense, which maybe not as good as the last couple of years. They've had some games where they've given up some points, but I still trust Iowa secondary.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Check.
Okay,
Check.
EJ Warner. We haven't mentioned the Rice quarterback yet, but again, I'm not too worried about the Memphis defense. Again, it's same thing as Bachmeier, over 1.5 touchdowns.
That's the worst of the 3, but I think I will go there because Rice seems to have turned the corner once again. The head coach firing, I think, helped open up things. So,
sure. And then if you want a bonus one, maybe you don't like that one as much. Sounds like you're kind of on the fence. We'll go with your boy Danny O'Neal over 223.5 passing yards.
Oh yeah, that's hitting against this terrible New Mexico defense. All this stuff is available. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGP. And I think you can really find an edge. NC Nick was alluding to it with college hoops. I've had success there with college football this season. At CFL, NFL. I mean, it doesn't matter the sport. Get on over there. Promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back, and Saturday slate is upon us. Saturday morning. I mean, my slate is just fire here.
Yeah, now that you're on the East Coast, you can no longer say Saturday morning either. You say, basically noon, afternoon.
I'm trying to fix that. That's the only reason why I voted. I went and I actually went in the booth and wrote down like 6 paragraphs of having the time slates. I hate noon kicks, by the way. Can I just say that? Like, you got East Coasters are fucking they're wrong. All right.
Well,
this should be earlier.
Well, yes and no. I don't like any kickoff before noon because those of us that have, I don't know, a family and shit. Well, I guess you do now too, but a lot of times you have stuff to do in the morning. You have errands to run. You got youth athletics that usually is pretty early on a Saturday morning. So I like the game's not starting until noon. What I despise is the games that start really late and go till 1 a.m. That is the worst part. Yeah. That's the worst part of East Coast times.
No. Even as a kid, I was watching those Hawaii games with Timmy Chang and Nick Rolovich. All right, and Paul Johnson. No. All right, your times are all fucked. All right, staying up late is awesome. All right.
Not when your kids are up at 6 a.m.
No, it will always be awesome. Why do you think they invented coffee? Right? Or cocaine. All right.
Mix a little cocaine in your coffee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have cheat codes on this. You can go and grab yourself one of those horrible Rockstar energy drinks.
That's right. Or I think I heard from the main show they're calling it shed powder nowadays. That's the new term, Colby.
I like that. Well, is that just you're working the circular saw and there's that powder everywhere, and is that
I don't know. I don't get it.
No?
Why it's called that,
Dust.
but yeah, that's the new name for it.
Yeah. Anyway, I know Jake's on Team NC Nick here with these times. Shout out to Jake Paquin. No,
he disagrees with me. He's saying
I think he was
later
disagreeing with me.
better.
Oh, okay.
I guess
Okay.
it depends on if he's talking about morning or night. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyway, what I will say is this was my favorite slate of the three.
Yeah. A lot of options here, and I think you're gonna like my roster if you get what I'm putting down.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying here. I'll just go ahead and take a guess.
Look out, just watch him go down to Buffalo.
You have guessed correctly. Shadur Sanders' price is actually a lot cheaper than it's the cheapest point it's been all year.
8,900 against Texas Tech's defense. What am I missing here?
132nd in the nation, giving up over 300 yards per game. I mean, Shadur's having a good year, but he hasn't been like absolutely crushing it, like, games in the 40s or 50s. He's been selling for, mid 20s or about 30. But I think this has the potential to be his biggest output all year long. So I will take Shadur Sanders at 8.9K.
Yeah, I rostered him too. You sandbagging son of a gun, stealing my guys. All right. Well, I'm going to stay in the great state of Texas because it's a homecoming for the great Bryson Daly, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. He is from the state of Texas. He's probable, but he's playing because he's in the Army and he's from the state of Texas. You only have so many of these opportunities to flush the toilet on all those gals that didn't want to date you in high school. Here's your chance. Although I doubt they have ESPN Plus and watching, North Texas, but no, North Texas is actually decent this year. Sort of. I think some of it's the schedule. Some of it is,
they got an offense,
but here's the thing. Patty C, he says a lot of outlandish things, but one thing that he is correct about is that anytime you use the air raid, and you go up against a triple option team, your team normally gets fucked up from a yardage standpoint. Sometimes, you might get the win, but even our friend Mike Leach, may he rest in peace, they struggled against Air Force, man. Yeah. They lost to Air Force. One of his better, one of his good Washington State teams did. So I am loading up on Bryson Daly, and I am loading up on the fact that North Texas is going to have no idea how to stop this offense.
Yeah, I mean, now that we know he's playing, I mean, it's a great play. My only question was that how do you spend 9.5 and 8.9 on your two quarterbacks? Because that's going to leave the rest of your roster.
I told you I love this roster.
Yeah, okay. I mean, he's had the highest ceiling of any player in college football, other than Ashton Jeanty maybe, because he's been absolute monster games for Bryson Daly. So I didn't roster him. If I go, my usual thing, if I go one really expensive quarterback, then I'm going to go with a really low quarterback. And I'm going to take you to Jalen Daniels, the Kansas Jayhawk, for only 5.8K. He's turned a corner. Okay. He was playing like dog shit to begin the year. Last 3 games, he's been, 23, 25, 33 fantasy points. I would say it's got pretty good defense. Sure. But Jalen Daniels for 5.8K. Let's go.
I like it. I'm a Jalen Daniels guy. I think some of it was NIL. I made the case, but some of it also is just coming off back surgery.
Yeah, sure.
Just got to feel a little different throwing the old ball or even running the ball. Like that play. I'm excited to watch that game. Yeah. So those are my two quarterbacks. Running back wise, I'm just going to start off with Jamal Haynes, Georgia Tech's running back. Miami's defense is fucking horrible. I can't believe they don't have a loss on the season yet. Well, they should, but you can say what you want about Miami's offense. I'm there with you. That offense is very good. The defense is not.
No, it's not.
Jamal Haynes at 6K can be a difference maker and can be a reason why they're storming the field at old Bobby Dodd.
I will say the pass defense has been worse than the rush defense. And what's the latest on Haynes King? because if I'm going to roster Jamal Haynes, I want Haynes King.
I just assumed
to open up the offense to give them an actual threat of passing the ball as well.
I just assume Haynes King's playing because the line dropped.
Yeah. Okay.
It went down to like 9.5, 10.
Okay. Well, that's a good indicator. Okay.
Yeah.
I like the play better than what's his price?
$6K.
Oh, we might have a little battle here because I only got 2 running backs, by the way, and my highest is only 5.9K. And you were just saying, I agree with everything you were saying with that Army North Texas game. So I couldn't fit in Daly, the quarterback. I'm going to fit in Kanye Udo, the running back, for 5.9K.
We don't have a battle because he's on my damn roster. Look, these triple option teams have scored like 70 points on these air raid Texas teams. Dude, that includes SMU. All right. When Army and Navy have faced a lot of, I know the Rice game just happened, right? With the exception of that, and also they're running the single wing, which is a little different, but they have truly fucked them up over their last. Do a deep dive on it. I think that's going to matter. Uday. How do I pronounce that again?
I said Udo.
Yeah, Udo.
But me in pronunciation, so I'm not saying it's accurate.
Udo's a stud. All right. Whether we're pronouncing his name correctly or not, the guy can play ball. All right.
If you came here for correct pronunciations, you came to the wrong spot.
And I'll be honest, I flirted with stacking Daly, Udo, and Tyrell Robinson, who's underpriced.
Ooh, yeah,
but I didn't go with Tyrell Robinson, but he's a baller. So you've gone through. I got both my quarterbacks, both my running backs out there. Do you have another running back?
Yeah, I got one more because I've only given out one so far. In an effort to get a white running back in all my slates this weekend, I will go bottom of the barrel. Patty C's boy, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Carson Hansen for Iowa State. He's healthy. He's back. He's only 4K. A little worried about who's going to get the rock between him and Abu Sama for Iowa State, but the price was right. The matchup's pretty good. So Carson Hansen. Let's go.
So wait, you got Dean Connors on the Friday night slate, Carson Hansen on the Saturday morning slate. That's Saturday night, who could it be? We have kind of had a renaissance of white running backs, right?
I'm assuming I probably don't because I was kind of just joking. I didn't actually try to make an effort to do that. Let me just check and see. That would be pretty hilarious.
Well, I'm just saying in general, though, like when you think about what Christian McCaffrey has done, we went like 30 years with very, very little white running backs.
Who's our guy? Carson Steele. How about that?
Carson Steele, Cam Scattaboo. They've kind of came back. I mean, you had, I feel like from like 1985, since John Riggins retired all the way until like 2008, we had like 5. It was like Travis Jervey.
And you know what? I might have rostered Scattaboo too, but he's doubtful. Actually, I probably would have rostered him if he was playing, but he's doubtful on the night slate. So, anywho, so those are my 2 running backs. You have 3 receivers or 4?
Oh, I loaded up with 4, buddy. I'm telling you, my roster's fire.
Fire the first shot.
I will fire the first shot here in this war. I'm going to the Gophers on the road. Rutgers defense not good.
No, it's not.
I don't know how we were that off. I know they had a couple guys get injured, but still, I didn't think they'd be this bad. When I see Daniel Jackson at $5,500, I will load up on old DJ there. Yes.
He's a baller. I cashed on a ladder with him 2 weeks ago, I believe. I forget what game it was. Maybe the USC game. But dude, he's a wide receiver 1. Their passing attack is actually doing fairly well the last few weeks. I didn't roster him. I didn't have the money, but I like to play.
He was my. You didn't have the money. He's 5,500.
Well, I mean,
I
got 2 guys more expensive than that, but I'll tell you who my two of my receivers. I got a double stack with Colorado. I'm completely looking to fade the Texas Tech pass defense. So I got your boy, your Heisman, Travis Hunter at 9.5K, and then I went LeJonte Wester at 5.2K.
Well, I have LeJonte Wester. I couldn't afford the great Travis Hunter, but I did load up also. Did you see Jimmy Horn is $3,900?
Okay, so you went double stack with Wester and Horn?
Yes.
I like it. Okay.
So I mean,
Makes
that's
a
what
ton
I'm
of
saying.
sense.
Like, I feel really good about my roster, and I have only one player left.
I got
But
2 left, so let me interrupt and so no, so this guy. I mean, I had like 7K left, so I just went Xavier Restrepo. Not that wasn't necessarily looking for that matchup, but in that price range, he's so damn dependable. And obviously the wide receiver one for Miami. So sign me up. Do you hear me?
I do.
I cannot. Okay.
He's so damn dependable. I heard last.
Yes.
Sorry, we have the internet here. Definitely not known for its speed. Speaking of white running backs, they're basically, this internet company is the white running backs of South Carolina, but or the United States. The United States here. But we got the Toby Gerhardt internet package here. But my final guy, NFL pedigree. I got Shador Sanders, his dad, obviously, Deion Sanders. I like to think Jimmy Horn's dad is Joe Horn, but it's not. Aronde Gadsden Jr. Against Boston College. I think there's a clear mismatch. I think they're going to try to exploit that. He's been hit or miss this year, but
yeah, they have like 4 good receivers that they spread the ball to. So it's kind of hard to know which one's going to have the best game every game.
Yeah. But he will this one because I picked it.
Okay.
So Aronde Gadsden Jr. there as my final play on my roster.
All right, my last guy, dirt cheap 3.1K. He is a freshman receiver for the Clemson Tigers, Bryant Wesco Jr. He missed a couple games. He's back healthy. Last week against Louisville, he went 7 for 53. The price is right there, man. And also, I think you look at maybe a potential ladder for Wesco. The guy's a baller. He's young as shit, but he is very talented, and he might be in store for a breakout game.
There we go. All right. Well, this gets us to Saturday night slate. I can hear the shitty NBC music in my head right now. Here comes Saturday night. So terrible.
Before we go too far, the main question, obviously. Sorry, did you have an ad read, or were we just jumping in?
I was going to jump into the ad read here.
Go for it.
I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm. Yes, SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive models in seconds to get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props, all that good stuff. You can copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or you can build your own, like old Pick Dundee here, and then it'll adjust around what you like. Rhythm gives you predictions for every game, and Player Prop also has a slew of stats, research, trend analysis to give you even more betting insight. And Rhythm just launched their college basketball models. So hop on over there, do that. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Also brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. That is BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. I was on ECU yesterday. BetUS treated me kind. All right, go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. I'm on the Kansas Jayhawks later tonight. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. All right, we are back. What were you going to say, man?
I was going to say the main question with this slate is what to do with Ashton Jeanty at 12.9K. I'm guessing you did not roster him.
I did not this time. I think I did last week or the week before, and it was good, but it wasn't as elite.
The last 2 weeks rather pedestrian for him. 128 yards, 1 touchdown, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I love how that's a shitty game for him.
Right. But I mean, I guess for 12.9K, it's probably not worth it. But the fact that he's had 2, like I said, rather pedestrian for him games means maybe he's in due for like a 250 and 5 touchdown game. So I rostered him for 12.9K.
Woo! 12.9K. NC Nick saying, Ashton Jeanty, let's go. I did not. If anything, this lineup, my most expensive guy though was a running back who you're a huge fan of, RJ Harvey with UCF.
Yep.
I was thinking about this as it said R Harvey on my DraftKings over here. You remember Rocky Harvey, the running back for Illinois in the early 2000s?
I do.
I wonder if that's his dad. Anyway, but yeah, Arizona State's good, but they're not that good. So I think UCF, the way they commit to the run, Harvey's going to get his.
You know, I'm a big fan of his, so you'll find no argument from me here. But no, obviously, so I have 2 other running backs. I have 3 total, but spending up on GT, I got 2 cheap running backs. The second one, 4.4K, Penn State's Catrone Allen. Obviously, he's there with Nicholas Singleton too, but I think Penn State's offense is going to have a big game at home against Washington. I'm laying the 13.5 with them. So even though he splits carries, you know, he's had some nice games this year, and I'm on roll of dice at that price that he finds end zone and gets me, I don't know, 15, 20 fantasy points.
I like how we're starting with the running backs here.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I like this.
All right, hey, let's go running back.
I'm going to carry on this tradition.
Let's do quarterbacks last, okay? Quarterbacks get too much
quarterbacks. Running backs. I prefer the like football when the running back was the most important player on the field. Look, Florida State's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious. It's one of the most hilarious things.
No, it's the most hilarious thing. The most.
Jeremiah Love is at 6K. Florida State's run defense horrible. Their pass defense horrible, and Notre Dame is gonna fuck them up. So I loaded up on Jeremiah Love. Florida State's quit on this team, and yeah, I feel decent about this play here.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the Notre Dame rushing attack, what's there not to like? And the matchup is there too. So nice play, but no, like I said, my running backs, but other than GT, are dirt cheap. And we were talking about Cam Scadaboo. He is most likely not going to play. I think he has a doubtful tag right now. You know, I'm looking for the backup, and that is sophomore Kyson Brown, who last week went, 15 for 63 and a couple touchdowns. I think Arizona State is going to win that game at home against UCF. His price is only 3.4K. One of the other reasons why I spent up on GT was that I liked some really cheap players in this slate. So that's why I decided to spend up. He's my third running back, the Sun Devil backup.
You know, that's interesting because I feel like I have to consider maybe throwing him in at the flex position, but because I do like that play. My top wideouts. Yeah. I didn't spend that much on the wideout position. It is in the Boise game though. And Cam Camper, the former Indiana Hoosier. Boise's passing game's improving every week. That's another reason why GT's stats. Maddox is becoming better and better at the quarterback spot. So
he's also, I mean, teams are loading the box against GT. So the play action's been there, and he is passing more. I agree.
And I think he's being just developing too. Remember, he's a redshirt freshman, I believe. So, 5,500 Cam Camper.
Do you have any money left over?
Very little, $100.
He's only $300 more. I mean, first off, Camper play, I like to play. I mean, Boise's offense is going to probably score at least in the 40s. So, no argument there. But for 5.8K, Savion Williams for TCU going up against Oklahoma State. I mean, not only is he still catching a bunch of balls, he's playing Wildcat. You know, over the last 3 games, he has 26 rushing attempts for over 200 yards combined in those 3 games. I think, TCU's running backs have been very iffy this year, so they're not getting carries anymore. Savion Williams, the receiver, is moving to Wildcat and getting carries. And if you know anything about the Oklahoma State defense this year, they're fucking awful and they can't tackle. So I think
what was his price though?
5.8K. He's one of my favorite roster spots in all 3 of these slates.
I can tell you this, staying in that game, because I like Savion Williams, and I would be open to do it. Maybe if I move around these pieces later or turn in a second lineup, maybe I will. There's a guy named John Paul Richardson who's a dog, JP Richardson for TCU. 37 catches on the season. Savion Williams does have 10 more catches, but Richardson, I think, missed a game. He is an Oklahoma State transfer, so I think he wants to stick it to his old team.
Nice little angle there.
And he's only 3,400. And it's a guy that's had a punt return touchdown I think he also is their kick returner as well. So like, there's a chance always that he could break another one there and get you some points on a touchdown there. They've ran him a couple times too, but yeah, JP Richardson there, 3,400. I don't understand why he's so low of a price because like,
yeah, well, he's not a volume guy, but he is a big play guy, and the matchup is certainly right. Even though I think we both think Oklahoma State's going to cover, but TCU's offense is still going to find a lot of success. So it makes sense to go for a cheap Horned Frog.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so next to wideout for you.
Okay, you're delayed a little bit. You're a little choppy over there, but it's all good. All right, so my next wideout, my wideouts are cheap. He's only 4.4K. You might remember him at Ohio, Jacoby Jones, the UCF very golden knight. It seems to me like he's got a rapport with the new quarterback, Dylan Rizek. Because up until 2 weeks ago, Jacoby Jones only had 2 catches on the entire year. Last 2 games, he explodes for 6 for 116 and 5 for 106. He seems to be the favorite target of the new quarterback who's starting for Central Florida. So he's only 4.4K. I'm going to ride that momentum with Jacoby Jones. I know you love a good Jacoby.
Oh yeah, gotta love Jacoby Jones. There, he was a baller in the MAC. This guy's actually my second highest price wideout. Look, UVA. Tony Elliott went from surprising to probably going to get himself fired at the end of the year. As they're on a big losing streak here. They're taking on Pitt. Pitt, it's a get right spot after that SMU game. Kenyatta Mumfield is one of their better wideouts. Kerwin Bell's son, Cade Bell, the OC, they're going to find ways to get the guy the ball. That's why you like Desmond Reed so many times in DFS slates. They know how to find their athletes. $5,400. Give me Kenyatta Mumfield.
Okay, you like Mumfield. You've rostered him a handful of times this year.
He's good.
I know he is. He is. All right, my last receiver, Jeremy Bernard, the Washington transfer, went to Alabama along with his head coach. I mean, the guy's been Mr. Consistency, double-digit fantasy points every game except for the opener. He's been over 70 yards each of the last 4 games, and he's only 4K. So I know the other freshman receiver there is getting all
Ryan
the hype.
Williams, yeah,
Ryan Williams, but Jeremy Bernard has just been Mr. Consistency as their wide receiver too, and I think Bama LSU could be a shootout.
Yeah. We'll more on that in a second, but yes, I would agree with you. My final guy to roster here.
Well, we got the quarterback still, but are you still on receiver?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a tight end, and I rostered him the other night. I think 2 weeks ago against UNLV, and he had a pretty good game. Matt Lauder, the tight end for Boise State, who was second on the team in receptions, first on the team in touchdowns, out of San Diego, California. There, this is I'm stacking these Boise guys. They're going to put up some points. He had like 100-yard performance against Washington State and 2 touchdowns. So loading up on Matt Lauder,
price
3,800.
And you don't have any money, or do you have only $100 left over?
100. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we still no side bet because I like Jeremy Bernard better, but I like Lauder though. Ain't nothing wrong with that play. And I guess that transitions us into quarterback. And since you got 2 Boise State Bronco pass catchers, do you also have Maddox Madsen for 7K?
You're goddamn right, I do. I'm still waiting for him to score a touchdown and dance like Mark Madsen. But there's the music. He's becoming more and more comfortable. He's really developing way beyond what I like. You go back to week 1 compared to now, he's running the ball. He's more confident, passing the ball better. At 7K, that's who I went with. My second quarterback, going back to Bama, LSU, it's Garrett Nussmeier. Alabama's defense, it's not good. And Garrett Nussmeier are going, like, the LSU is going to put up points. I think this is going to be a close game, but I do think LSU is going to win it. And I also believe Alabama's defense is not very good. I
think both teams are in the 30s, right?
Yeah, maybe even the 40s. I think LSU wins in the 40s.
Yeah, so I like the over. I mean, the total for that game is 58.5. I like the play. I didn't have money for him though. My last quarterback 7.3K. Apparently I got some pieces on the Sun Devils here, but Sam Levitt, he's healthy.
I almost went with him. Almost went with
dual
him.
threat. So
Yeah.
Sam Levitt, that closes out for me. So yeah, both my quarterbacks only 7K and 7.3K. Really, I couldn't spend up on anybody else because GT was so pricey. But I like the roster.
Yeah. Shout out to Ron, who's a Boise guy, I think. We love Boise State football. All right. Well, look, that's our show. Only one bottle of bourbon, huh?
Jeez, not a whole lot. We'll make it a really good bottle.
There you go.
Pappy, okay.
There you go. Yeah, one of those Pappy bottles that got stolen. And the black market, you can get a discount on that. Anyway, folks, that's our show. Give NC Nick a follow on Twitter at NC__NICK. What about the ladders? You said a little ladder situation?
So I know the Friday night Ortworth. I haven't completely dove into all the ladders for Saturday. I'll probably be tweeting that out like I've done the last few weeks.
Give him a follow on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to say, at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. I'll be back in about an hour and 45 minutes with the bet detective himself. All right, Scumbagger Vance, CJ Sullivan. We're going to do the bombs down under. So buckle up. This is the College Football Experience, DFS style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot.